M0FXB. Welcome to my videos on the XIEGU X6100. If you find these useful, please like and subscribe to my channel. 7.3, all the best. M0FXB, going to give a review, or my review, on the XIEGU X6100 HF 50 MHz transceiver with built-in ATU. Let's start off to have a quick look at the case. So it's like a metal case with this hard plastic surround at each end. Then you've got connectors going in at each end. BNC IQ out for SDR connection and DC input, which is 9 to 15 volts, but the usual 12 volt supply that we use. The connector is the same size as the ICOM 705. You've got an SDR screen and buttons across the top that illuminate. There's a PTT here at the top, so you can almost hold this like a handheld. Although it is a sort of HT, it isn't really a HT, more of a portable device. You've got bands that go, the band button that go up and down, AM, FM, CW, SSB, and then A and B band, VFO memory, VFO to memory, antenna tuner, preamp attenuator, AGC, and then FST, which stands for frequency step. You've got your VFO here, which works fine. It's not as smooth as an ICOM one, but it still works fine. And the small speaker here, which is easily loud enough. You can select the RF gain here and the squelch here, and they are multi-knob, so you can push them and turn them. Same goes for this button here, which is for your main menu and settings. You can push and turn, and then you've got separate settings here along the bottom, and the N1 normally acts as a exit button. In this case it's for memory, and you can add memory very easily just by pushing it. And then if that's the frequency you want to save, I can erase one there, and then I can just save one. And I can tag it, name it, and even mark it, and exit. Then you've got other buttons here, on-off button. General is your main menu. App is for decoding, so you've got modem here for SWR scan. The modem is for decoding CW, RTTY, and I think it's BPSK. Voice call is for recording your voice. SWR scan does work, and you can see there, but it does go into transmit when it does it, of course. And it will scan, and you can change the speed here. And it works well. And you can change the span of that as well. Then you've got a whole menu section there for CW. All these different selections here. There's two menus there. You've got a message menu here for text messages. Hit it again for voice messages. Then you've got filters of noise reduction and noise blanker, and you can adjust the levels by turning. This is the multi-function knob. Then you've got your filters here, and I've tested these. They work very well, and you can select the multi-function knob here, push it for red and blue, and it works well. And then you can close here. The microphone included is this microphone here. It was very similar to the old ICOM ones that you got with the 2820 or the 2725, and half of it works. You can change the bands, you can turn on the filters on this, but that's about it at the moment. There's some firmware upgrades. You've got to remember that this radio has really been released earlier than it should have been, and that they've already added a couple of firmware updates, and there are more that are needed, because there's a few, there are certain things that don't work, that I can't find that work, like the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth. To me, the voice record and function didn't feel correct to me. Anyway, on the side here, you've got the microphone input, remembering that you have a microphone hole down here, which is hard to see. there on bottom left, so you don't actually have to have a microphone, although for me on test the audio is better with the FIS microphone. Then on the side here you have ACC for amplification control, key for CW paddle, and SP for speaker and earphone adjustments. Then you have two USB-C connectors. One connects you to the computer for FTA, I think it's actually the top one, and another one can be used for adding a keyboard and mouse. And then you've got your SD card slot here, which we've used for firmware images. And the way this device updates the firmware is you load an image onto the SD card when the radio is turned off. You turn the radio on, it uploads the image, and then you go into the menu settings in general, and you go to system settings, and you go across to firmware upgrade with the multi knob, and when you select that you get the option to upgrade, and that's it, and then it'll work. Let's quit out of that, we don't need to do that at the moment. We've got the latest one, December 2021. Okay, so that's my overview of the radio. It's a solid device, it's quite a weight. It's about, they've packed a lot into this thing. In the UK they're around £600. You've got a BNC connector, and I've tested the tuner. You turn it on with this button at the top here. You get a light saying here tuner's on, and then you hold it down. Well, we're out of bound there, and you tune. Hopefully they'll get the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth working so we can have more control on that. You've got a very large radio settings menu here, and we're going to go through them all in a separate video, but it's very nice the way it's laid out. It looks very nice. We exit with this button, radio settings 2, receive increment tuning, transmit increment tuning, split mode we have, an IQ out, there's adjustments there. I think you just engage it basically, on and off really. Display settings, I've done a whole separate video on display settings. That's basically controlling your waterfall scope here, but also your audio scope here. This is an audio scope here, and that can be changed in settings as well. Like I said, main system settings, you can set the time here as well, which we've done. That works good. To go out, it looks like we're going to have to go to OK here, which is the multi-knob, and then push the multi-knob. And now we can, like I said, system info is for firmware information. We can select again. That's the latest firmware that's out. Looking forward to the new ones. Now that's what we love about this radio. Effectively, it's like a Raspberry Pi inside a very, very well made, elaborate box for HF radio and 6 meters. And you can pretty much do anything you like with it within the limitations of the hardware, but the hardware, as far as I can see, is very good. So anyway, you've got firmware upgrade and factory reset, which we've never done. Now remember, turning this device on, this is a computer, so to turn it on you have to hold it for 2 seconds to come on, and then when you turn it off, same again, hold it for 2 seconds and it goes off. Wait a while, wait 30 seconds before you turn it back on, because it is basically a computer trying to close down. So my personal review on the radio, well, number one, XIEGU, really they should have fixed all the bugs and tested this for a lot longer before releasing it to the ham community. Although hams have got this radio and they've delved into it and they've found many of the bugs and they're reporting them to XIEGU, I think they could have held on to it a bit longer and then released it, and hams would have still found the bugs, but I don't think there would have been so many, because certain things just don't work. The Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, it is in there, the chip's in there, it's been tested, and it will work. But if you go in the menu and try and turn it on now, you can't. Everything that you do to activate is listed along the top of the screen here. But they will get it working because the hardware's there. It is a firmware thing. So if I talk about this radio purely from a budget HF 6 meter ATU radio, ham radio, I will say for the price of around £600, I would say it's good and it's worth it. I've been sat here for a couple of days. I've been having contacts on HF, no problem at all with audio. The speaker is fine. The screen quality is nice. I think they could have added a bit more colour to the waterfall as it comes down, and a few more settings for the waterfall. Like the span would be nice. It'd be nice to zoom in, or be nice to have almost like that scroll mode that you get with the 705, where you can actually see a line down the middle of the screen. At the moment, there is a line in the middle, but you just move the waterfall scope right and left, and it follows. The noise reduction is okay, it does its job, but it's a bit wishy-washy. If we turn it on now,
be quite interesting. Ken, KP4AA. He's on frequency, Ken. That's Z04RMS. Ron's copying you, Ken, over. Sorry, Ron, he's not here. Ron, you're 5 and 9, 59, Ron, over.
As you can see, it does work. And you can change the settings there. Noise blanker, well, can't see a big change, but need some noise blanking type noise to really check it. The tuner, to me, works excellent, and you do get the 10 watts out of this on most bands when you've got a DC power. And right now, as we stand, I can change the power level to 10 watts because we've got the power plugged in just by turning this knob when we come out of this menu. When you're in the general menu, you by default change the power, and we're at 10 watts here. The volume's at the top here, and then you've got squelch and RF. That works fine. The tuner works excellent. Turn it on like so, button at the top. Just on the far right. Turn it on here, and then push it and hold it. Oops. I need to come away from those people, so... And push it and hold it. And it works great, and I've tried it on all bands, and it works. The bands that I use regular, which is 40, 80, 20. I have tried it on 21 megahertz as well. Seems fine. And it's got A and B band, A and B. So there's A showing now, and B, and it always shows what is on A and B here. And you have split mode. So split mode can be turned on as well, which is just radio settings 2, and then you turn it on here, highlight it, and then turn it on. And it works. Split mode works fine. When you transmit, the band changes. So if you're in the market for a portable color screen SDR radio with built-in ATU that you can take out in the field and have actual contacts, this will work. Now I haven't tested it with CW. That's going to be a big test. There is a decode function for decoding CW. When you push the app, go to modem here, and then you can select decode, and it'll start to decode here, and you set the speed of the WPM, which comes up here, and you try and match the two, and then it decodes. But I haven't actually got it working, although I've seen it working online. So you've got a lot of possibilities there. I need to use this on Digimode. Haven't done that yet. The Digimode connection to the PC is no problem at all. You have the USB-C in the side. I know it works. I've seen it online. It's already set up. There's no audio devices required in between this radio and your computer or laptop. It will just work once you've put the correct settings in. So doing Digimode portable, no problem at all. You've got a BNC connector for your antenna. So I think they've tried to think of everything, and then obviously they had to keep the cost down below, £600, let's say. And they've managed to pack everything in here for that money, and they have filters as well. Let's just exit this. I'll just show you the filters. Just push the DFL button here, and you have filters 1, 2, 3 that can be adjusted as well. And they work. The filters, if you ask me, they work well. And you've got an audio spectrum here. They chuck that in because it looks good, and it does work, and it can be adjusted in this menu here. Let's go to the menu. General is your main menu, and you've got display settings here, and then so you've got the AF here. That is for your audio. The actual waterfall spectrum, look here, waterfall, and then you've got the RFT. So there's a whole menu to control what you're seeing on the screen here, and the screen looks fine to me. It's very, very bright. You can change it by just pushing the lock button here, although there is adjustments within settings. It's a very bright screen indeed, so no complaints with the screen. Just add a bit of red here, a bit of colour on the waterfall. That's all we'd like to see. And you can see the time, the battery charge. This light flashes green when it's charging. Obviously it's turned on now. When you TX, it goes red, as you can see. And then you do hold the button to turn it on and off for at least 2 seconds with a 30-second gap. So overall, I think it's a winner. I think once they've ironed out all the bugs, I think that this is going to be a very popular seller, and you know, keep the price as close to about 550 as possible. It's not the same as the 705, of course it isn't, because that's all band, all mode, D-Star radio, but it does have a tuner. The 705 doesn't. So some people would prefer this one. Why? Because you can pick it up, go out the door with a wire in your pocket, and have contact straight away. And you can't do that with a 705 unless you've got an antenna that is cut to size. So okay, well, I'm going to try and make videos for every single function of this radio. For me, it's a thumbs up. Yeah, if I'm going to give it marks out of 10, I'm going to give it, because of the firmware problems, I'm going to give it about a 7. But if it wasn't for that, I'd probably give it an 8. Where an ICOM 705 would be easily 10 out of 10. So well done, XIEGU. I think you've done some really good work on this radio. I really think XIEGU really tried to pull out all the stops on this one, and I think it will get better, and the experimentation that is now available thanks to this radio is going to be fantastic. So 7.3, and thanks for all the other YouTubers for their input. I've got my little granddaughter and dog here at the moment now. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe my channel. 7.3, all the best.